How you doing, guys? This is Andrew at FloryPB. We are going to do the operations manual for the G7 fly board. Like every Angel, our switch is in the back. We know about that. Our dip switches are down here and they're upside down. So the first thing I like to draw attention to is dip switch 4, which is closest to the battery right now. If you push it up, it goes into tournament lock mode. One, it locks it for tournaments, and two, it turns your programming mode into a battery indicator. So if you hold the trigger, press the button, it will flash. The green flashes are the amount left in the battery. 4 flashes is a full battery, 3 is 75%, 2 is 50%, 1 is 25%. You should be replacing the battery. You probably should be replacing the battery at 2 flashes. But then we'll turn dip switch 4 down. And if we do the same thing, we're in programming mode. We'll go through that in a second. Dip switch 1, which is all the way at the far end of the marker here. This is our anti-bolt stick, enabled or disabled. I leave it enabled from the start. Dip switch 2 is our anti-mechanical bounce, which when you're shooting slow, it adds additional milliseconds of bounce protection, basically, to try to prevent bouncing. If you're playing like Iron Man or something like that, this might be necessary, but I just leave it on. Dip switch 3 is a rate of fire control when basically ramp mode with the eyes on. Just leave it on. It's good. Don't worry about it. One thing I didn't mention in the install video is be conscious of your trigger, because you're pushing into the micro switch, and if you're a person that likes to hold the trigger or hold it down or squeeze it, you'll break the micro switch if you let your trigger over travel and blast the micro switch up. So adjust your back wheel and your front wheel accordingly, and your hang accordingly, to give yourself an end stop that's not pushing the micro switch. That's the best way you can do it. All right, from there, we will go into board programming. That's on, that's off, that's on. We're in programming mode. I guess first we'll go into this. Just turn the marker on, regular. Right now, these eyes are broken that are in here, but if they were working, this light would end up being green unless there was actually a ball in the breech. Because there's no ball in breech and the eyes are going to malfunction, once I hit it, it's going to start flashing, which tells me there's an eye malfunction. This slows it down to 10 balls a second if you're trying to shoot faster. If you want to shoot without eyes on, you press the second button to turn your eyes off. And now I'll shoot whatever speed you have it programmed to shoot, which is 10 balls a second right now. From there, you can turn it on and off with that button, with your second button, which is your eye button. Top one is your power on and off. And the third one is just a dead button. Doesn't do anything. It's just to fill the space. But with that, let's go into programming mode itself. Hold the trigger, press the power. Let it cycle through. It starts in green. Green is our dwell. Our dwell is at 12 milliseconds for this marker starting. It's 1 millisecond increments. You can adjust it to whatever you choose. Red is rate of fire. This is your whole balls per second rate of fire. It's set to 10 stock, but it can be from 1 to 40, whatever you want it to be. Purple is our anti-mechanical bounce. This is how much dwell we add to the anti-mechanical bounce. Factory, it's set at 5 milliseconds. Just leave it there unless you get a lot of bounce. When you're just trying to pull the trigger real slow, then you can adjust it. Next is teal. This is our ball and breech delay. So when the eyes are working, it's how long the ball has to break the eye beam before it lets the marker fire. It's set to 1 millisecond for modern hoppers. If you have a slow hopper like a Revy or something like that, you might want to up this in order to just give the ball more time to settle down. It's half millisecond increments, so 0.5 millisecond increments. Next is yellow. This is our firing mode. Firing mode is, there's 4 of them. You have semi is 1 pull, full automatic for testing is 2 pulls, NXL legal ramp is 3 pulls, and a parabolic, just the faster you shoot, the more it adds ramping to it, is mode 4. It's an old school ramp style. Next is white. This is with the V2 software. White is our incremental balls per second. So we shoot 10 balls a second, but the actual legal limit is 10.5. So this adds 0.1 balls per second per pull from 0 to 0.9 balls a second if you want to inch up to that 10.5. So say you want to do 10.3, you can hold the trigger and you go, that's 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's 10.3 balls a second now. Let it program out. If you want to check a setting and you don't want to just do it like that, just hold it and it'll start flashing how much there is. I don't know what I just did there. I just screwed up. Hold on a second. Hold it and it'll flash how much there is. 1, 2, 3. Now I want to put 0 again, so I just do one click for 0. Let it program through again. Blue is our final. That is debounce. Our debounce is set to 5 milliseconds. Again, if you want to make it super bouncy, you can set it to 0 all the way up to 50, I believe, on this one. It's set to 5 to start. And that is it for the traditional programming mode. Turn the power off with the top switch. We have our switch to kill the battery power, so you're not draining battery as it's sitting there. These boards will have parasitic battery drop because they are looking for this switch pull, unless you turn the actual trigger off, or the actual switch off in the back. And I believe that's everything for the manual. This is Andrew at FloryPB. These are our G7 boards. I'm ecstatic about how they fit in these markers, and I hope people want to start using them. That's it for now.